card that was found on Pinterest by Melissa Gifford. She's from Australia, I do believe. So I have my cardstock here. I have some vellum, Whisper White, and that blueberry bushel. These are all 8.5 by 11 inch sheets of paper. So I'm going to start with all of the cutting. So I have my Stampin' trimmer here. I'm going to grab that. And we're going to start with our Whisper White. This is going to be our card base, and then we're also going to cut a mat to go on top. So with the long edge at the top, we're going to cut it at 5.5 so that we get our standard card base. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for joining. So that's 5.5, and then we're going to score it in the middle at 4.25. Okay, so there's our card base. Set that aside. Now I'm going to cut a mat for the top of my card. So this measurement here is already 5.5. I'm going to cut it at 4, and then I'm going to trim it down to 5.25. So it's 1/4 inch smaller than our card front. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. We are going to be stamping and cutting out of this sheet of cardstock here. So I'm going to do that in just a second as soon as I'm done cutting everything else. And we just need a small piece of the vellum, so I'm going to put that in. I'm just going to cut about a 3-inch strip off. We really don't need that much, but I want to make sure that I can get it through my Big Shot without any trouble. So I'm going to put this back into my paper pile for next project. And then this piece here, we just need a small strip. So we're going to cut on the long edge. I'm just going to trim it down to, I think, 2. Let's start with 2, because we can always trim it down more if we need to, but I'm pretty sure 2 inches is going to be fine. And then I'm going to trim it down so that we're going to do our card landscape. So I'm going to do this strip as long as the card is, the card mat. So that's 5.25. Now that's that Whisper White piece that we cut to go on the top of our card. So it is the same length as that piece right there. So let's see. I'm going to need this large flower and the small flower. And then for the words, we're going to use wishing you all the best. Let me get that out. I'm actually, I think, gonna, oh no, that's fine. I'm gonna leave that there and put this on this one. Okay, so there's our stamps. And with my scrap piece of Whisper White, now this is the scrap piece that was left over, not the card mat that goes on the front. And I have my blueberry bushel ink pad here. I'm gonna open that up. So you want 1 of the large flowers and 2 of the small flowers. So I'm going to ink that up, and it's been a while. I don't know how much I've used this ink pad. Not very much at all. And these, you can see that around the edge, it's really dark on here. I haven't used this stamp set very much. I know that on the small flower, there is an outline, and it is supposed to be gradiated. I don't know. They have a word for that, and I can't, it's escaping me at the moment. It's kind of more like an artistic style, which I do really like. So I am totally in love with how that stamps. I think it looks gorgeous. So I've got 1 of the large, and then I'm going to do 2 of the small. And I'm going to spread them out just a little bit so that I can cut them at the same time, the large and the small. Okay, so there's those, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment as well. And the sentiment I'm going to cut out with the included framelit, sentiment framelit guy. So I'm going to stamp him kind of off on his own out here so that I have enough room to cut around it. Okay, so that's all the stamping. The rest is embossing, and then we're just going to throw it all together. And it's super quick, so that's what I like. So we're going to start with cutting out. So I have my Big Shot here with the magnetic platform along with a cutting plate. I'm going to lay down my images. Now here is that framelit that I'm going to use to cut out my sentiment. You can see that there's a lot of room around it, but it's okay because I'm going to cover up a lot of that white space. So I'm going to center that. And then on the other side of this, oh look, we do have two. That is awesome. How awesome is that, that we can cut two of the smalls out at the same time? Yes! Okay, so I'm going to set those down. And get those in place. This is so cool. I love it when they give us two of these guys. It makes cutting out so much faster, especially if you're doing a lot of cards. Now the only problem is sometimes the magnetic platform can be a bit tricky. So sometimes I totally am gonna lose that. Sometimes if you drop your dies on their edge, they can kind of repolarize a little bit, but you have to do it to the plate as well. So I might just go for cutting one of the smalls out at a time, because I don't think I can get that one on there quite as well as I would like. All right, so we're gonna run that through. There we go. Okay. I love this framelit. Isn't that gorgeous? It's so simple, but it's so adorable. I love it. All right, so set that aside. We've got the large flower, one of the small flowers, and then we'll cut one more small flower out. You just kind of play with the paper until it sits where it wants with that die on there. Okay. There we go. All right, so done with that part. Now we're going to do some embossing. So I have my mat out of the Whisper White. I'm going to put that into my scattered sequins. And for this, I want to take off my magnetic platform. And I'm going to bring in my Big Shot platform. Now, because this is the dynamic folder, I don't want to use two cutting plates. I just want to use one, because if I use two on this platform, it would be a little too thick for my machine. So I'm putting the platform, the embossing folder with the cardstock, and then one cutting plate on top. And I'm just going to run that through like that. It's going to give me a really light impression. I think it will still fit with two of these, but it'll be really hard to get through. And this is gonna work just fine for me. Look how gorgeous. I love it. I think I'm gonna put it this way on my card base. All right, so done with that. Now we're going to run that strip of Blueberry Bushel through in our tin tile embossing folder. And it is gorgeous. This is my favorite embossing folder, I think, ever. It's so beautiful. I'm just going to kind of center that right here so that I get kind of a symmetrical design on there. Same thing, one cutting plate. This is also the dynamic embossing folder. Run that through. And then we just have a couple of things to cut out of our vellum, and then we'll be ready to put this all together. So grab my vellum. Switch back out for my magnetic platform with a cutting plate. I'm going to throw the vellum on there. And from my framelits, I'm going to use this guy right here. I'm going to cut two of those. And I'm going to use this as well, but I think I want to use a glimmer paper for this guy instead. I want it to have a little bit more bling or pizzazz. So I'm going to cut two of these out on the vellum, and then I'm going to cut two of those others out using some glimmer paper. So there's one. Turn that guy around and get another one. Two hands, Melissa. Use two hands. Okay. So there are those. Boom. How easy. Love it. All right, now bear with me. Let me grab a piece of glimmer paper. And not sure if I have a scrap or not. I don't see a scrap of a good size. Look at that shimmer. Yes. Yes. It's so pretty. Okay, I need to trim a piece off of there though. Trim it down a skosh. So I'm just gonna bring this in, and I think that will be plenty. Okay. And again, bring this guy back in. Just like that. And I am going to use my die brush to get that out because I have a feeling I'm going to run it through a couple times just to make sure it cuts really well through that thicker glimmer paper. Oh, maybe I won't need my die brush. Oh my gosh, I don't need it at all. Look at that. Just have to kind of gently work that out, and boom, so pretty. Okay, so one of those, I'm going to do two. We'll do one more right here, and then we'll be ready to put it together. Now I am altering the design slightly from what Melissa Gifford did. She used the stitched shape framelits. She had her sentiment on a circle, and it was a different sentiment as well. Okay, let's see. Am I gonna need it for this one? Probably. Yeah. All right, boom. I think I can probably get away with just the die brush. Let's see. Yep, there it is. Boom, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to fold my card base in half. We're gonna start there. Okay, done. I'm going to adhere my my blueberry bushel piece down like that. And to do that, because this is raised and this is raised, I think my best bet is to use some dimensionals for this part, just to make sure that everything kind of sticks all together. So I'm gonna load this up with some dimensionals. So I'm going to stick that right here. Okay, so we have that layer done. And now I'm going to put this kind of, let's see, should I put it up or right? I'm just going to stick it right in the middle there, I think. So I'm going to pop that up as well. So I'm going to put it so that there's the same amount of space on the top, the right, and the bottom. There we go. Okay. And now for these, I'm going to glue dot these because I don't want them to pop up too far. Just a skosh. I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of that and make that come off of here. And then we're going to glue dot this down. And you might want to put your other little accent pieces down before this, but I'm just gonna go for it. And I'm gonna kind of, let's see, where's that glue dot? I'm gonna need another one up here. So I'm gonna kind of layer that on top like that. All right, now I'm gonna place these. And I think what I'm gonna do is tuck mine kind of under like this. So I'm gonna put a glue dot here, and then just make sure that when I get that tucked under, that glue dot is hidden underneath, just like that. Okay, so there's one. And now I'm gonna kind of do the same thing on this. I'm gonna put a glue dot right where it all comes together there. Carefully peel that up, and then I'm pulling up really gently on that, and I'm just going to put it right over. I'm going to do the same thing with this on the bottom edge right here. Now I did put, there we go, those dimensionals under that white piece, so I just have to kind of move around that It's not too bad. And you could put these on the back of the white piece before you even glued it down, which would probably be a better idea. But this is seeming to work just fine as well. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh, I love it, you guys. I love it. Okay, where's my card? Here it is. I'm going to pop this up as well because we just love being popped up. All right, boom. The final piece, finishing touch. I couldn't figure out if I wanted to say final or finishing. My words are getting kind of scrambled together. Okay, so I'm gonna put 2 up here, 1 large and 1 small. And then I'm gonna put 1 small down in the right-hand corner, down here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What do you think? I love it. I love it so much. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I love how it turned out. I love everything about it. I think it is super pretty. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give the video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified when I upload new videos. You can find me online at melissascreations.com. I'm also on Facebook at facebook.com/MKre8tions. You can find me on social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest with the handle at MKre8tions. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Okay. That is it. That is the beautiful card that we made, inspired by the Pinterest post by Melissa Gifford. I believe she's in Australia, but the details will be in the description box below, or I will also put them in the comments of this video if you're watching this on Facebook. That is super pretty, using First Frost and a couple of the Dynamic Textured Impressions embossing folder. Love them, as well as that beautiful glimmer paper, and we have some vellum paper there as well. And those accents, what do you think of those? Those frosted, the frosted droplet things. I forget what they're called. The frosted and clear epoxy droplets. They are super awesome. I think I haven't used very many, but I think I'm going to be using them a lot more often because they are gorgeous and they just add some fun texture. They look like water droplets. So pretty, and I'm really excited. Blueberry Bushel. There we go. That is it, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this first video in a long while. Thanks so much. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.